Now we're recording.
No! Oh my goodness!
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Are you okay?
Welcome. Yes, I'm gonna intro us in.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me pull my mic.
All right.
Wait, there we go. Welcome, everyone, to the What Do the Gays Think podcast.
This is the best intro to a podcast we've ever done.
I am your host, Patrick, and I'm with my co-host, Matthew. Hello, Matthew.
What?
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Why do you sound so you sounded so robotic when you were saying that?
Like I literally roboted, or just like my timbre and my tone?
Your tone. You didn't literally robot.
It took a lot of focus to get through that.
Oh.
So anyway, this week we're only recording one episode. Normally we hammer out two, but because Jackie isn't around to finish up our She-Ra sequel, we are here doing a solo episode, and then hopefully whenever she gets back, we can give the fans what they want, the squeakquel to our She-Ra episode.
Squeakquel. I like how you say solo episode as if we don't usually do this.
Yeah, well, listen. When this gets released, our two fans are going to look at our episode list and they're going to see She-Ra Part 1, and then there's going to be this, and they're like, what happened to Part 2?
What happened to She-Ra Part 2?
I just want to let them know that it is coming, and that if they want to blame anyone, it's Jackie's fault.
Jackie? No. Jackie's on a lovely vacation with her partner. So.
And if you want to send like some sort of message, you can find Jackie on Twitch at Jackie_B_bananas, and on Twitter at King Jaqueen.
King Jaqueen, JAKWEEN.
Yes. So let's move past Jackie and everything that she's doing to ruin this podcast and move on to the topic of today's episode.
I hope she's listening.
So we were gone for a while, right? We had our little break, and then our episodes since then have been about the climate change report, which frightened all of us, and then She-Ra. But we, were away. We couldn't comment on some stuff, and then other stuff has happened in the week since we recorded those episodes. So we're just gonna do an Otter Hour, like culture, film, TV news roundup. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of sort of open-ended thought, verbal vomiting.
Yeah, I know one thing's been going on that we haven't commented on recently, which I'm assuming we're going to comment on, but I'll let you go ahead and take the reins.
Yeah, do you want to start with that? With that topic? No, do you want to start with that topic?
Oh, no, you do whatever you feel is best. I'm letting you take the lead.
Yeah, I know. You're so sub. I think we should start there because it's depressing. We can kind of quickly get it out of the way because I have a suspicion we feel the same way about it. And then we can end on like a lighter note,
Okay, I feel that.
So the Taliban.
Lovely, yes.
No transition needed. Okay, so Biden had his little plan to pull out. He
did not. He has a bunch of kids. It didn't work.
Well, listen, at his age, Biden doesn't need to pull out. He's shooting blanks. You know what I'm saying?
Biden, I hope he's not listening to this.
I can't even. Biden, our number one fan. I have a suspicion Biden doesn't even have sex. Because like when you're the president, you're too busy, and a man of his age, he can't get it up without a pill.
Oh my God. I mean, Jill is looking good, though, so she's probably ready and, raring to go.
Can you not objectify a woman for once, you straight man? You straight white man?
I'm not straight.
You straight white
I'm
man.
also not white, so...
Okay, you straight... I mean, you gay, mixed-raced man. Can you not objectify a woman?
All right, I'm sorry.
So Biden had a plan to pull out the troops, and basically he started right, like the whole process started, and then quite recently, Taliban forces. Oh God, what was the Kabul?
Kabul,
Kabul, right?
Yeah, the airport or the city.
Yeah. I didn't want to say the wrong thing, as if this is like a real news podcast and I'd be dragged for it. Oh yeah, okay, great. Yeah, it was Kabul. And then since then, uh, Biden has received a lot of flack for being like a weak president. A lot of people are comparing him to Donald Trump, saying like, "Oh, well, Donald Trump never had this happen, sweetie." And now here
Sweetie.
you are doing something in the Middle East for the first time as as president, and bam, bombs.
Oh my God. Sorry, behind you is Ace.
Hi, baby.
Ace is
Hi,
Pat's
baby.
dog and is currently in the camera for those who are listening in the podcast. I just got very excited.
Baby, come here.
That was not a
Okay,
time
fine.
to like gasp like
Oh my God,
lovingly.
Matt has been doing this thing where like he at inappropriate times will make noises or gasp or like say things that are extremely unprofessional and inappropriate. I was telling Matt something very deep and truthful last night, and he wasn't listening,
No,
obviously.
I
So
was.
he saw something else and goes, "Oh my goodness." And here I am, like, I just opened up to you about something deep, and here you are not paying
I
attention.
was listening, I swear.
So here I am saying, the Taliban's fucking up the Middle East, and Matt's like, oh.
Dog in the background. Come on, who wouldn't do that though?
Honestly, same. Ace is beautiful. If you're only listening, I suggest you just take a peek on our YouTube channel to see just this little timestamp where the dog is present. So now back to Biden being shit on in the news. A lot of comparisons to Donald Trump. A lot of people saying he's a weak president. Some Republicans are asking him to resign. Um, and then Biden came back and was basically, gave a stern, we are going to hunt down these people and we are going to make them pay resolution. And then recently, after the most recent attack or bombing or whichever, I think some U.S. forces, 13 U.S. forces members,
Yeah, I think
at least 13 died. And now people are even more amped up about Biden's response and his sort of activities in the Middle East. Do you have an opinion? Something to say about this?
well, do you have any more information
I
to
mean, I can list off some stuff that I have in front of me from like the New York Times. If you want me to, sure.
It's just that before I start spouting off what I think, I just wanted to make sure that you had already covered the whole like what you were gonna say.
Well, yeah, this is from the American. What is this from? AP News.
Ah, yes.
Yes, this is from AP News. This was posted, today. So this is the most updated article. A U.S. drone strike early Saturday in eastern Afghanistan killed a member of the country's Islamic State affiliate. U.S. Central Command said President Joe Biden has laid responsibility for Thursday's suicide bombing on that offshoot extremist group, which is an enemy both to the West and to Afghanistan's Taliban, and is known for especially lethal attacks. So there's apparently a lot of groups
Yeah, it was a
like
different group.
fighting in this area. The death toll in Thursday's suicide bombing rose to 169 Afghans, a number that could increase as authorities examine fragmented remains and the 13 U.S. service members. So that was the most recent info I got on it. So
Yikes.
your opinions?
All right. Here's my opinions.
Yes.
And we've said this before on this podcast, so this shouldn't be a surprise. I don't like Joe Biden. Like, I've never liked him. I picked him over Trump because Trump was an asshole, and I hated Trump.
Yes. Yes.
um, Given that information, I don't think Joe Biden's plan was all that amazing, obviously, because everything went to shit.
It sure did, Jan. It sure did.
But also, I get the feeling just from like what I've been hearing and the small amount of research that I've done into this topic that this probably would have happened anyway, even if it was Trump. Let's say Trump got reelected, and Trump was already planning to pull out of Afghanistan too.
Yeah.
So even if Trump was here and they pulled out of Afghanistan, this was probably going to happen anyway. So yes, people are giving Joe Biden flack. Was it entirely his fault? No. Yes, some his fault, yes. Maybe not all his fault. But also, like, the entire concept of the war in Afghanistan in general goes back multiple administrations. So, like,
Yeah.
fault falls on all of those administrations for not building, like, not doing what they were supposed to do for the last 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, like it was a long time coming, and I think no matter what who the president was and what they did, it was very much like a pressure cooker over there. Any sort of movement, whether it was pulling out or pushing in, No matter what direction you went, I
Ah,
think some bad shit would have happened. I mean, we've put ourselves in a little bit of a box here as a country where we took it upon ourselves to be sort of like the authoritative police of the world. And when you have, a lot of oh, that's not the phrase I was looking for. When
uh,
you have like a lot of I was gonna say fingers in holes or fingers in cookie jars. What's
what?
that phrase? What's that phrase? It doesn't matter. When we are in as many situations as we are in, as we are trying to sort of be the referee for all of these disagreements, skirmishes, countries that are always tense with each other, you know,
Yeah.
eventually one or two, if not all these situations are going to boil over. So this is just the country we're in, Afghanistan. It's just the extremist group were fighting the Taliban and this other offshoot group as well. Something was bound to happen. Can you blame Joe Biden for it happening? I don't know if you can 100% blame him, but I think you can blame him in that he is a part of a political system which has kind of perpetuated our existence in the whole Middle East itself. So I
Yeah.
think you can definitely find fault. But to say, a lot of people saying that Donald Trump would have handled it better or it wouldn't have happened if he was president, that's a load of bullshit.
Yeah.
It wouldn't, I don't think it would have been necessarily worse. I think it would have been around the same.
Yeah, I think it's naive to go around guessing and be like, "Oh, if this was Trump, this wouldn't have happened." Like Trump,
Yeah.
he already said he was going to do the same thing, maybe in a different way, but he did say he was going to pull out of Afghanistan, and I think it would have happened regardless. But that's neither here nor there, is it? Because Trump is not president, and we could always speculate and be like, Trump would have done so much better. Like we don't know. We're not in that alternate timeline, so. I'm honestly tired of people being like, if Trump was president, then this would have happened
Yeah.
differently. You don't know. So,
Yeah, I don't care about the what if scenarios. Unlike Marvel with their newest TV show on Disney Plus, What If.
hmm.
Little plug there for something that doesn't sponsor us because Disney would never sponsor anything that's gay because they're homophobic.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, Disney's not
Yes,
homophobic. That's a little bit of a blanket statement. I think Disney's just a coward, as we did say on our She-Ra episode, that
we
Disney is a
did. Yes,
coward.
we did.
Yeah, I don't play in what ifs. I don't want to speculate too much about things that I know are impossible. It's impossible to know what Donald Trump would have done as president. You can speculate about other things, like what is Biden's response going to be to all of this, and is it going to get worse or better? So right now, it's a shit show
Yeah.
um, in the Middle East, in Afghanistan. But that's not the only place it's a shit show.
Oh, here we go.
I think there
We
are
got
some
more.
other places it's a shit show. Right here in the United States.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So if anyone is unaware, all of our out of the country listeners, all like two of them in India, and I think we have like a few in Europe. Um, COVID is spiking a little
Oh,
bit.
a little
It's
bit.
it's going like if you looked at I like to send the little case graph to the group chat we're in sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you look at like the United States cases of COVID, it definitely is on an upswing. Um, it's not as bad as the peak we were at a few months ago or several months ago now. So that's good. The vaccine definitely helped. Mask mandates definitely helped. But now with the lovely Delta variant and all the other variants we keep hearing about, and people kind of getting this sort of really fast amnesia about how bad it was,
Yeah.
we now have these numbers coming up. And I just want to ask you, because it's a multifaceted issue in terms of, some people don't want the vaccine, some people don't want to wear masks, some people don't want both. And then you have the people like us, I think, that are willing to do both easily.
Hmm.
But, it's not us, people like us, people being safe that are generating these variants. Really, it's the people who are not being safe. So what do we do? How do we re-engage with these people who just simply forgot or are fed up with the idea of wearing masks or getting a vaccine?
Yeah, that's a good question. And honestly, I'm starting to think, at least from my perspective, I'm starting to think that they're kind of just gonna have to figure it out for themselves at this point. Um, no, I'm serious. Like we've done, I think, all that we can in terms of trying to make our case for wearing masks, getting the vaccine, etc. It's been how many months since we've had the vaccine? Since January. It's been 8 months, 9 months. So we've had this vaccine for so long now. We've been wearing masks for a year and a half, longer probably. Making the case for them at this point, if they're not gonna get the vaccine or wear masks at this point, I'm not sure they are going to. What I think is going to happen is that I think that these people are going to start catching COVID. People that are probably close to them are going to die, unfortunately. And I'm hoping that kind of like snaps them back to reality, and then they start complying again. I mean, that's where I think this is headed, because honestly, just seeing all these, posts on Facebook from my, lovely family members, seeing people's comments on Twitter and on social media, etc., reading the news, that's just where I am. That's what I think is happening. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's gone to the point now where if these people aren't on board with the vaccine and the masks, after seeing how many people died, after hearing about all of the like hospital, like the nursing and doctor shortages in terms of not being enough, and the hospitals being filled with COVID patients, if that wasn't enough to convince you, and then like the FDA recently, I think it's the Pfizer vaccine, approved the Pfizer vaccine officially.
Yep.
If that hasn't convinced you, if you're still on the fence or an ardent no, I don't think anything can. Like, I really don't. I think you need to get COVID. I don't want them to, obviously. Oh my God, that was so not the right
You need
way
to
say
get
that.
COVID.
I think you need to get COVID. No, I don't want, even people who I think are stupid, I don't want them getting COVID, obviously. I don't. I think it's awful. But like, I think for these people to change their minds, they do have to be faced with the harshest version of this pandemic, and maybe that'll change their minds.
Yeah.
I wish that wasn't the case, but I think that will be the case. So, COVID is terrible. It's coming back. It's back in fashion. The sequel.
It's back. We
Yeah,
back.
please welcome to stage Delta variant.
Delta. Oh my God, it was hilarious. I took my mask off for like 2 weeks, and then I was like back to masking. We here.
Yeah, I'd like to take it off sometimes, just to feel the breeze on my face.
Right.
And then put it right back up. No, I was giggling before when you were talking, because you were like, you think they're going to get, the people are going to start to die, they're going to get COVID and they're going to die. And I just kept thinking of Wendy Williams.
Oh, death to all of them.
To all of them. Not that I want that. I'm just saying Wendy's funny. And I think that was a funny line.
Yeah. And I agree. I don't want these people to catch COVID and die. But at this rate, I think that's the only way that they're going to start seeing things for what it is.
Yeah, and finally, to round out, well, I shouldn't say round, because this is a trinity, the unholy trinity of news, so it's a triangle. So to kind of level this triangle out, we've got our last piece of bad news. Did you hear about the Supreme Court?
Uh-oh. I have not heard about this. What happened?
So I think the Supreme Court recently said they are no longer going to protect renters from being evicted because of COVID.
Oh, no.
So when COVID started, there was this big issue with renters because people weren't working. They were working outside. They couldn't pay their rent. So there was like a moratorium on evictions for a while.
Yeah, I thought they extended it.
I think whenever the extension runs out, it's done. So I think the Supreme Court said there's no more protection for renters. I don't remember the decision in terms of like who said no and who said yes, but apparently it was a no. And we don't rent anymore. We don't have any people living here. But when we did, we were very conscious of COVID, conscious of COVID, but conscious of how COVID was affecting our tenants, our renters. So I'm hoping that people who are renting do, even though the Supreme Court said they can evict people, that they don't jump on it.
Yeah, I agree. I would love for landlords to be good people, but I know that there are some landlords who are not good people. I've heard horror stories, actually, about landlords in certain places.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
what
ahead.
A great name. What a great name, landlord. The lord of the land.
It's kind of like, I actually don't like it. Landlord. It's like their royalty or something.
I know, it's kind of bougie. I kind of like it.
I kind of...
Like, I'm just going to call someone in bed landlord.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Hi,
I'm
landlord. What are
learning.
you doing, step
I'm
landlord?
learning. Oh my god. I'm learning more and more about you every day, and I'm not sure I want to be related to you anymore.
So you better tell your brother to get a divorce because we're in it now. But that's it. That's the unholy trinity of news.
The
Now we're gonna move
Bermuda
on to
Triangle.
oh yes, of news. So we're gonna move on to some other stuff. Recently a movie came out that I saw.
Okay. What'd you see?
Several movies actually.
What'd you see?
I've seen the new Suicide the new Suicide Squad movie, Free Guy, and The Night House,
I
and
haven't
Black
seen.
Widow, but that was a while ago.
I haven't seen any of those movies.
Well, I'm not going to spoil Black Widow because you are a little bit of a Marvel fan.
Yes, and I still plan to watch
So,
the Marvel shows. I will. I will get there.
okay, girl, whatever,
Girl.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Go off. So yeah, I won't say much about Black Widow. But I will say the Suicide Squad by James Gunn, who did Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 and will do Guardians 3, was lit.
Mm.
Lit, so graphically violent, so funny. Like I audibly laughed in the theater multiple times. Like, ah,
Wow.
the characters are hilarious. They got good dynamics. There's a giant shark in it, a giant starfish.
A giant
Um,
shark. A giant starfish.
yeah, it's so good. And there's rats everywhere, and someone says they're gonna eat a whole beach full of penises. Like
What?
he's like, if this beach was covered in dicks, I'd eat every single one of them for freedom. And I was like, work.
I mean, same.
So I would suggest to anyone who hasn't seen it see it. It is not a true sequel to the first Suicide Squad film. Like a couple characters carry over, and you can tell that there's shared history, but nothing in the first one is brought up in the second one. The first couple
Oh.
minutes give you a good idea of how the movie works and how the group works, so you don't even have to watch the first one. And to be honest, the first one's not as good. So,
Oh, well, since I thought I saw the first one, I thought it was pretty good. So then maybe I should watch the second one.
yeah, it was okay the first one. I did see it. I did see it at the New York premiere, and I thought it was lit that I was seeing it at the New York premiere. So I was kind of like high on that.
Right.
But then, like in retrospect, when I saw it again, especially compared to this one, I was like, "Oh, this one's way better."
Oh, oh.
Yeah, yeah, this one's like way better. But there's a lot of like back and forth about how the first one was cut up by the like upper brass of Warner Brothers, and how there's a director's
Hmm.
cut out there that's better. But we haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Well, Fugma. What was that other movie
But
that they released the director's cut of that was like much, much longer?
that was Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is 4 hours long.
Yes. And then we talked about it and we said it was good, right?
Yes, well, I did because you didn't watch it.
Well, I ain't sitting down for 4 hours to watch no movie.
Well, you can pause it, bitch. Come on, stretch your legs, walk around. Give us a
Listen,
show.
listen. Oh, I'll give you a show. Anyway, what else, what are these other
Anyway,
movies you saw?
so I saw Free Guy, which was the Ryan Reynolds film where he is a NPC in a video game who basically becomes sentient.
Oh God, hello.
So he's an NPC in a MMO like online RPG game, and he becomes sentient, and basically he meets a character who's played by a person in the real world. He meets her avatar, and he starts to fall in love with her. But he's an NPC and she's a real character, so it's kind of weird.
This it sounded like a good concept at first, but then you brought in the
Okay, yeah. So basically, like, it's so wild because it's like, it basically, like, this is like the world's in this film, the world's first like artificial intelligence is an NPC from a video, and he looks like Ryan Reynolds. So it's really fun though because they do a lot of like homages to other games, and they do
hmm,
like a lot of like things that only quote unquote gamers would get. Um,
gamers.
gamer,
What's
and
that?
then
What's that sound that's going around on TikTok right now? That's like, what are you, an axe murderer? No, worse. I'm a gamer.
no,
You haven't heard that one?
no, I keep hearing the "you smell like a baka," Aaron Yeager.
I don't have that one.
Our algorithms aren't synced up anymore. Maybe in a couple days
Yeah,
they'll
they'll come
level
back. They
out.
eventually come back.
So Free Guy was pretty fun, actually. It's a comedic film,
Mm.
but it does have a great cameo by Chris Evans, who played Captain America. So I was happy to see him. Anytime I see him, I smile.
Oh, oh. I
Yeah, it's
love
because
seeing you
he's hot
smile.
and he could just peg me. The other movie I saw was The Night House. It's a horror flick. Um, and I watched the trailer of it when before it came out, and I was like, this looks interesting. It looks like it's going to be about X, Y, and Z. And then I see the film, and I'm like, oh no, it's not about that. It's about this. And I was like,
Oh.
ooh. So it's not like very scary in terms of like jump scares. It's very eerie.
Mm.
It has a deep meaning. It's not like amazing. It's not an amazing movie, but it's good. Like the message they're sending and what the movie's really about is pretty lit.
I
Um,
kind of prefer movies that are more like that rather than jump scare type horrors.
Yeah, there's a couple moments where it's like, whoop, it scared me.
Ooh.
Um, but really, like, basically, the premise is this woman's husband recently killed himself. Really
Oh,
easy, just jump right in.
right.
So he leaves her a note, and the note says, "You were right. There's nothing. You're safe now."
That's a little creepy.
And I
Okay.
was like, oh my God, that's terrifying.
That is very creepy. Okay.
So she is now mourning the loss of her husband in the house that they built by this lake together. And then
Aw.
she finds plans for the house, but basically the mirror image of the house. So she finds all these plans of a reverse floor plan, a reverse layout. She's like, "What's this?" And then some creepy stuff starts happening, and she has to
Oh.
basically investigate what her husband was doing with these plans. And why is this creepy shit happening? Is her house haunted? So,
Wow.
it turns out, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it turns out to be a little different than what I suspected. But it's kind of lit because sometimes, horror films by the end of it, they just spell everything out. They kind of reveal
Hmm.
everything, which in some cases is good because I want the full reveal. In some cases, they don't, and it leaves an air of mystery. And this one kind of leaves an air of mystery, which I
Oh.
like.
I like the word
Like,
air.
uh, I do too.
Yeah. It's like ERR, right? Air of mystery.
Oh, something like that.
Well, yeah, it's not the AIR word.
Right. Is it? I don't
Welcome
know.
to What Do the Gays Think Spelling Bee edition.
I don't know.
Hang on,
Anyway,
I'm gonna look it up while we're here. Go ahead.
did you see the film Hereditary?
No. Mm.
Okay, well basically at the end of Hereditary, they really spell out everything. Um and some people liked it and some people didn't. I kind of liked it because there was a lot of like misdirection and deep plot in the film that when they spelled it out, I was like, okay, now I get everything. But this
Mhm.
film, there's some stuff they don't kind of go into, and I kind of was like, lit.
It is actually Air of Mystery, AIR instead, not the ERR. That's my bad.
Like it is that like air on the side of caution? Is that the other
Oh,
air?
maybe that's the other one. Yeah. I think you're right. Air on. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh
Hang
my
on.
God. Well, what did the gays think spelling bee edition?
Spelling
Amazing. Iconic.
Spelling me edition.
Iconic.
We're talking about
Uh
homophones here instead of homosexual. We're talking about
homophobes.
homophobes. No, we're talking about
Homophones.
homophones.
Every time I pick up my phone, it's a homophone.
What? Shut up! Shut up!
Or someone sees me across the street on my phone, they're like, homophone.
Hom- Shut the fuck up!
All right,
Oh
on
my
to
god!
other good news. Lil Nas is releasing his full album in
Yes,
September.
yes.
Montero is coming out. I think it's. Wait, let me get the exact date for you. I
September
believe it's.
17th, right?
There you go, bitch. I think that's it. Yeah.
Oh my god, the song that was playing, whatever song it was playing in the background of that, like
I want
basically the
it.
trailer, I was like, I
I
want
want.
that. Whatever it is, I
Yeah.
want it.
Yeah. So for those of you who are fucking stupid and aren't on the Lil Nas X hype train, he's released, I believe, three singles from this album.
Yeah,
He's released Montero, Call Me by Your Name. Um, wait, I got
sun
it.
goes
Sun Goes
down.
Down,
Yeah,
and Industry Baby.
yeah,
They've all been great. I love all of them.
yeah.
I love the diversity. I love how Sun Goes Down is really just a slow jam,
Yeah,
kind of in your feels jam.
they hit in different ways, you feel?
Yeah. The Montero is the classically the sex jam,
Oh yeah.
the sex positive. I'm gonna give into my sin, and then Industry Baby's more about him calling back to all those people who think that he is an industry baby, generated by the industry for the
Yeah.
industry. It's lit, and yeah,
And
he
that
released a
shower scene.
trailer. Oh, he released a trailer for it, and on his Instagram and YouTube, and the song playing in the background presumably is a song from the album.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
assuming.
can't wait. I want it all.
I want it. It sounded like a jam. I was ready for it.
I know, because he hasn't had a full album. I don't think. I think this is his first EP or EP extended play. Yeah, because he's released LPs, limited plays, right? Is that the acronym?
I don't know. I'm not savvy in the music industry.
I believe this is his first studio album, complete full studio album.
Got it.
So I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride it all the way to wherever I gotta ride it to and buy that album.
Ah, you know what I love though? I love
Me.
yes. No.
Yes.
I love that he made this whole album, right? I'm assuming he had the whole album ready before he started like releasing the music videos for the songs.
Presumably, I assume, yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming. I love that he started with "Call Me by Your Name." I think it's
Honestly,
iconic.
it is because that, I mean, we haven't heard the rest of the album, but that could be like easily the most like, let's say, racy or scandalous song.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when you see the music video.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the song doesn't tell you he's like riding Satan and kills him, but the music video explicitly shows it. So
Music
like
video shows
that
that.
could have, but he does say shoot a child in his mouth while I'm riding, which is pretty explicit. So him to like have the balls to release it is so cool. Like, because we've talked about this before. He is
Yeah.
a black queer rapper, or like just it's almost like some of it sounds a little poppy now. Like he's a
Yeah.
black queer artist. It's hard out there for a bitch who
It
is any
is.
person of color, any queer person, the amalgam of the two. It is hard. So to go out there and your title released single, first single, is about how gay you are, and it did extremely well. It slapped the hell out of everyone. But like that's so cool.
I
He's so
know. It's
cool.
so iconic. The first thing he's like, I haven't released a song in how many years after his previous song. He's like, I haven't released a song in years, and here we are, bam,
Yeah, and that's
right on
like
Satan.
I know. And then it worked obviously because it stayed on like Spotify streamable list for I think several like a few weeks. And then when he released Sun Goes Down, I think he had both on the top 10 streaming for Spotify. It was ridiculous. So he's a king. I stan him. When that album comes out, the moment it strikes midnight on September 17th,
Heck yeah, we
I'm
on it.
popping my pussy.
I hope if our podcast ever becomes like super popular, that we
Yeah.
have Lil Nas on our podcast as a guest and we
Oh
interview
my
him.
God.
That would be amazing.
Imagine, like all those other guests we had, just Jackie.
Just
Nothing. Meant nothing to us.
listen.
Absolutely.
I would love to have guests on this podcast, but I feel like we're not like popular enough yet.
Well, I'm trying to get John and Anthony to talk about Marvel, but some bitch hasn't watched those
Okay,
shows.
listen. People that are not our friends, like actual people
What,
to
are they
interview.
not good enough for you?
Oh, that is not what I said. Stop slandering me on our podcast.
Oh, I'm not. Okay, bitch.
Okay.
We're great designers.
I hope that this is the first episode that people ever listen to of our podcast, and it's just
Oh,
us just being bitches the whole time.
It perfectly encapsulates what we're doing. How you doing?
How you do? Death to all of them.
I love Wendy Williams. Not really. I love her persona. Okay, so Montero, we stand, we cannot wait. Moving on though. Okay.
Okay.
Moving on.
Where are we going?
What? I don't know where we're going yet, because sometimes you don't know the destination. It's all about the journey.
Okay, then take me there. Take me.
Okay. Shang-Chi. Oh, sorry, Shang-Chi is the next Marvel film coming out.
Yes.
Have you watched the trailers?
No.
Fucking God.
I've seen
Why
clips.
do I do this?
No. I've seen clips on TikTok. I have not seen the full trailer. No.
Okay, fine. Have you seen the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer?
That one I have watched, yes.
Okay, we can talk about this fine. The great thing about the No Way Home trailer and No Way Home, it appears you don't need to watch the most recent Marvel stuff so far to really be on top of it. So for anyone who's wondering, any Marvel fanboy or fangirl or fan they them non-binary people out there, um, so No Way Home is the sequel to Far From Home, where at the end of Far From Home, Mr. Peter Parker picked a pair of peppers.
Hello?
His identity was revealed to the world. And they basically blame him for killing Mysterio, which was the villain in the prequel to this sequel.
No.
So this film appears to be about how Peter goes to Doctor Strange, and it's just like, can you like reverse that for me?
Can you do it over? I don't want that.
Now, there is so much hype about this movie, about how there may be like multiple Spider-Men in it. There's a lot of villains from other Spider-Man films popping up in it. Everyone's wiling out. But there was, this is what I want to talk about. In particular, there was one discourse conversation happening that I was like, oh, what's this?
Oh.
People were like, why is Doctor Strange so fucking stupid?
What do you mean?
Doctor Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme. He's supposed to kind of protect this reality from magical forces.
Right.
And he's like, let me fuck with reality and make everyone forget it. Now, people, first response was, well, Peter Parker interrupted his spell casting. And I'm like, you're telling me the Sorcerer Supreme can't ignore a teenager while casting a huge spell? Okay, fine. Whatever. Wong in the trailer tells Doctor Strange, don't cast the spell. And of course, Doctor Strange is like, I won't.
I'm going to do it anyway.
And then does it anyway. And then obviously crisis ensues. Now, there was another group of people who were like, wait, Doctor Strange has no character development from the moment his film, Doctor Strange, the first, his solo film released, to now. And they were like, he's still an arrogant prick. He still hasn't learned anything really about being a sorcerer beyond the magic itself. So it makes sense that he would just, kind of do this sort of willy-nilly.
Yeah, I could see that.
I was like, that's fair, and I agree. I'm now pissed about his writing, because why hasn't he gotten better? Think about it.
Also, are we getting Doctor Strange 2? We are, right?
We are.
So
and
maybe we'll see some new stuff in there. I mean, I don't know.
Apparently, this film ties into the Doctor Strange sequel in some ways.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is, you're telling me from Doctor Strange, the solo film, through Infinity War, through Endgame, to now, he hasn't learned that maybe he shouldn't mess with reality? Because in the first film, the main sort of conflict he arrives at is that the Ancient One is drawing magic from the dark dimension to keep herself young so she can fight the forces of darkness. So it's like, being evil, but being evil for the right reasons. But then throughout the film, he learns, he shouldn't mess with time magic because he almost creates a paradox. And he learns from the Ancient One that, sometimes you can't take the easy way out anymore. Like you can't just keep drawing off energy from the dark dimension. She even says when she's dying, like, here I am now trying to stretch out this last moment before I die. But in reality, it's going to be over soon. This is the way it is. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the film, you almost feel like, okay, he's learned something about maybe treating magic with respect. And then there's Infinity War, where like he goes through a billion different alternate timelines to see which one works. And you're telling me throughout all those timelines, he didn't learn anything about himself? He didn't learn nothing?
Well, he has to go through all those timelines. He's really just looking for the one solution, right? He doesn't look past that, in theory, to see what happens
like,
next.
Maybe not the future like that far, but like just learning, like, oh my god, like, there's only one timeline which it goes right. We have to treat our decision making with such, especially those about magic and the future, with such respect, because then you can get situations like this where there's only one timeline where it works. And then there's Endgame, where they miraculously fix most of the MCU. You know, they get rid of Thanos, some people died, but after all this cataclysmic shit, you would think he would go, you know what? Maybe I should think about this before I do anything
Maybe.
really bad for the world. So, yeah, I do hope he gets better writing. I hope in this film and in the sequel, he actually gets character development. I think it's unfair to the character that he's had no development, but if they want to like justify it by saying he hasn't grown yet, fine, but y'all better give me that growth.
Oh, well, see what happens in Doctor Strange 2. There's plenty of potential in a whole nother movie. I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
I mean, if you'll have to watch WandaVision because it does relate to the Doctor Strange sequel.
Oh my god. Okay, I'll watch WandaVision's first, right? I watch that
Yeah.
one first. I will,
Yes.
I promise.
Listeners, be prepared sometime in the future, maybe next year. We'll
Next
have our WandaVision episode.
maybe at like 30, 40 episodes.
Yeah, we'll have our WandaVision episode. And you can finally hear how Matt, hated it or loved it or whatever.
Oh, I'm probably gonna like it. I'll say.
Oh.
I'm
What
assuming.
time are we at right now? What's the
We are
time?
at 40 minutes.
Okay, let's do one more topic and then we can wrap up.
Okay.
All right, let me just think of one. Here, I got something. Don't worry, I got something.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Um, just going on Twitter really quick.
Oh,
See what's trending.
well, while Pat is looking for our last topic to talk about, everyone don't forget to, go on Twitter and follow us on Twitter for all of our lovely memeing that we do sometimes. You can follow us at WDTGT Podcast. We also play games occasionally. We're actually going to play a game like right after this podcast episode finished ending. We're going to stream on Twitch. Our Twitch is What Do the Gamers Think? GAYMERS. And yeah, if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any podcast platform and you want to know when new episodes come out, go ahead and, subscribe to our podcast and then listen to us in the future and share us with your friends and family. I'm sure they would all love to hear about this. Unless your family's like, I don't know, Trump supporters, then they probably wouldn't want to listen to our podcast.
Yes, yes. So I can't find another topic, so I'm just gonna, tell everyone to watch Shang-Chi because I think that Marvel's not doing a good job um, marketing the film, and I think it's because it's an Asian-led film, and I think that they're dumb, and I think Disney are cowards.
Gasp. Yes, I will definitely watch the movie when it comes out. Here, I'll wrap us up with the topic. Let's talk
Oh,
about the new Phasmophobia update that just came
oh
out.
my
Oh my
goodness!
goodness. Yes, a game that we play pretty frequently. Phasmophobia. It's all about ghost hunting. You go into a house, you hunt some ghosts. It's a game that we play on our Twitch a lot, so go ahead and follow us. But yeah, they just had this big update. And so many new things have come out, and it's a lot more difficult somehow.
It is. They have two new ghosts.
Yes.
They have new equipment. They have updated graphics. They have updated sounds. They have updated like ghost events kind of. And it's
Yeah.
lit. Like I there was one moment where we died a lot, surprisingly, because
We did.
Matt, Jackie, as we mentioned before, and our friend Anthony usually play this often together, and we'll play professional, which is the hardest difficulty level, and we'll like beat it, and we'll be fine. Occasionally, one of us would die, but now, like one game, all three of us died,
Oh yeah, it was our first
and we
time all
lost.
dying. Yeah.
And the ghosts, I feel like they move so fast now, and the sprinting is different. Everyone should play that game because that game needs more traction and more traffic, so it can get more attention, so more money can go to it to make it a well polished game.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a lot more polished now after they did the graphics update.
Oh yes, yes,
So
yes,
much
yes.
better. I think the character models still need a little doing.
Your bangs are still busted in that game.
Yeah, but anyway, the update is a lot more difficult. I feel like they may have improved the Ghost AI quite a bit. Because they just find you so much, I don't know, so much quicker, so much better. They're better at hunting you, so you have to be like
Yeah.
a little bit more strategic in where you go to hide and how you approach that. Um,
All three of us hiding in the bathroom, and the ghost has to pick one of us, like, here I come.
and then it picks me each
Yes, it
time.
did. Yes, it did.
Anyway, now that we're at 45 minutes, I think we can wrap up. Would you like to wrap us up, Pat?
Yeah, well, Matt kind of gave you the whole spiel about where to follow us and shit like that before. But yeah, what do the games? Games? What do the
Games. What do the
what do
games think?
what do the gays think? That's the podcast. Find it on YouTube, all your podcast platforms. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a review. Follow us on Twitter, WDGT Podcast. Follow us on Twitch. What do the gamers think? GAYMERS. We're gonna stream something, hopefully. Who knows? Maybe. You'll never know, because I don't know.
My
Um,
goodness.
and I am and I am Wendy Williams. How y'all doing?
How y'all doing? And I am Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's really lacking character arc.
Yeah.
Oh, bye everyone.
Goodbye.